How's it going, everyone? It's Caleb here, and today we are talking about Quake on the Xbox Series X. From what I understand, this is basically a remaster of the original Quake game, and I had never played the first Quake until I played this. I've played some other games in the franchise, but never the first one, and I'm glad that I did, because I played through not only the campaign, but I played through all the extra mission packs that come with this as well, and I have to say, I really enjoyed this game. It's a lot of fun. I don't really care too much about the story in it, if I'm being honest. The story is weird. You're going around and you're collecting these like magic runes and stuff like that. I didn't really know what Quake was about. I thought Quake was always about aliens, I'll be honest with you. So I never really knew what Quake was about, because like a lot of the other Quake games I played, I just played the multiplayer stuff on. So I didn't really know too much about this. So when I started seeing the story, I was just like, wow. Well, this is really weird. So I didn't hate the story. It was odd. It wasn't what I was expecting. And this game also has a lot of like weird biblical references in it as well. Like you can see like crucifixes on the walls and stuff like that. And there's just like in one of the mission packs, it has like the horses of the apocalypse named on the wall. There's just some odd stuff like that. And I guess I just didn't realize that's what Quake was. But it was interesting to see, and it's definitely a really cool setting. I like the setting of this game. It's basically in a different dimension than Earth, and you're basically fighting these interdimensional beings that are trying to get to Earth. And there's a lot of weird, like, H.P. Lovecraft stuff mixed in as well. It's weird. It's a weird setting, but I'm down for it. I like it. Even though I'm not crazy about the story, like, because who cares about the story in one of these old boomer shooters? I still like the setting itself. The setting itself is awesome. The gameplay, though, that's where this game shines. This is what I love about boomer shooters, because it's always gameplay first. And this is heavily gameplay first. This is fast-paced, super fun, shoot 'em up, well, not shoot 'em up, but first-person shooter action. And I love it. You run around and you have to find key cards like you do in other games, like, for example, Doom, which makes sense. You have to find key cards, and you have to be able to exit the level, and you want to defeat as many enemies as possible and find as many secrets in each level as possible. And there's quite a few secrets to be found in this game. I love how many different secrets there are in this game. The majority of them, I would say like half of them are pretty easy to figure out, and then you get some that are actually pretty difficult to figure out. I was actually kind of surprised as I was playing through it how many achievements in this are diamond achievements, because not many people apparently have played the actual campaign, and that's all I played this game for. I only cared about playing through the campaign. But those secret areas, those were the hardest ones to get, and those were the ones that the least amount of people had. I guess a lot of people who played the campaign just didn't really do much exploring in this, because there's a lot of hidden areas. Some of them aren't super hard to find, and they actually will be like shortcuts out of a level and stuff like that, and you'll get an achievement for it. And I guess like no one's exploring this game when they're playing it, which was crazy to me, because like I loved exploring this game. I loved exploring the levels and trying to find all the secrets I could. Like, I like taking my time with this game and trying to find every single possible thing I could. And even taking my time in this game, I still couldn't find everything. So, I would definitely have to play through this again to be able to try to find all the stuff that I'm missing. The level design for the main campaign is really good. I love the level design on it. It has just the right amount of enemies. Some of the enemies can be really frustrating, but each enemy feels very unique and very different from one another, and they all have their own little challenge in terms of facing them. And I like the variety. There's a decent variety between them. And when you get into the extra mission packs, they do introduce some new enemies as well. And that's what we're going to talk about real quick as well, is that this version of Quake does come with a bunch of the mission packs. And I played through all of those, and I enjoyed the majority of them. There's only one that I wasn't crazy about, and that was called, I believe it's Desolation of Machine, I believe is what it's called. And I was not a big fan of that one, because it kind of just felt like they were throwing everything at you, and it didn't feel like the rest of Quake. It didn't feel like the rest of the game. It felt very fan-made instead of feeling like an official mission pack. So I wasn't a big fan of that one, but I enjoyed all of the other ones that I played. So there's a lot of content there, and the majority of the content is good. Another thing I wanted to touch on, because this is awesome, is that there's also a bunch of downloads that you can download in-game, and they will give you new campaigns, they will change things up, and it's really cool. You can actually play Doom using the Quake engine with some of these downloads, which is crazy. You can play Quake 64 using one of these downloads. You can play a bunch of there's other random, mods and stuff like that using this download feature, the completely custom maps and everything. It's really cool, and I'm glad that they include that because it just adds more replay value. It just adds more, stuff you can do. And I enjoyed testing it out. I tested out a few different ones. I played a little bit of the Doom version, and that was really cool. I tried out Quake 64, and it was okay. I feel like Quake 64 looked a little bit too funky. It was like they were using a filter on it or something like that to make it look older. So I wasn't a big fan of that. But, again, it's just additional content, additional free content, so what's not to love about that? So I had to bring that up as well. And I didn't really play multiplayer because I'm not a multiplayer guy. If I'm going to play Quake multiplayer, first of all, I don't really play Quake multiplayer. I play Quake bot mode. And if I'm going to do that, I'm going to play Quake Live. I'm not going to play, any of the other ones. But this does have a bot mode as well, and I did try it out. But, it's okay. But I'm going to stick to Quake Live when it comes to just getting my bot mode fixed. That one, Quake Live is like my favorite bot mode for Quake. So, yeah, but it is there if you are interested in trying it out. Overall, I enjoyed this game quite a bit. It's really fun. It's really cool. It definitely had some really interesting concepts for the time, and it was, honestly, you can tell in a lot of ways it's ahead of its time. Especially with the fact that, like, for example, using lightning weapons in this game, if you use lightning weapons underwater, guess what? You're zapped to death. That's it. So that was kind of cool to see that they actually had stuff like that, because there's a lot of video games that don't even worry about doing that type of stuff today. So, and the swimming is actually really good in this game. I didn't get mad at the underwater levels, which is very surprising, because most games underwater levels suck, but in this one it wasn't actually that bad. The only frustrating thing I will say is that sometimes when you are fighting underwater and you run out of ammo and some of the guns, it will immediately swap to one of the guns that uses electricity. And that's a really bad thing to happen when you're underwater, let me tell you. It's like an immediate death, and it's just like, well, there goes that. I'm going to restart the level. So that is bad. However, you can save at any time. So you may want to save pretty often in this game whenever you're going through it, because accidents do happen like that, and it's frustrating when stuff like that happens. I ran into some other bugs as well. I ran into almost all of the major bugs I ran into were actually in the actual mission packs and not the main campaign. But during one of the mission packs, I got to the end of a level where a bookcase was supposed to open up, and it would not open no matter what I did. And I couldn't figure it out, so I actually had to restart the level. And I guess an enemy that was supposed to spawn never did, and it spawned when I restarted the level, though, and I was able to beat it. So just odd glitches like that. There were some glitches where there's a certain mission pack that gives you different types of ammunition for your guns. So usually, like, if you have the nail gun, well, you use just basic nails. But there's one mission pack that includes lava nails, which is really cool. But if you run out of ammo in one type of the ammunition, sometimes it won't let you swap to the gun even if you still have the other type of ammunition. And that was a little bit frustrating as well. You can easily fix it by going to the actual weapon wheel and selecting it, but it just feels like that shouldn't even be necessary in the first place. That's a glitch that shouldn't really be there. So I just figured I'd throw that in here because it was kind of frustrating when I ran into that. Overall, though, I enjoy this game. It looks great. It plays great for the most part. And graphically, of course, it's old looking, but I love the way it looks. I love the look of these boomer shooters, and I'm going to keep enjoying and playing them. And I highly recommend it if you're just wanting a really fun campaign. To beat all of the main mission, the main campaign, and all of the bonus mission packs, I think it took me about 17, 18 hours to do. And I was taking my time as well. I'm sure you could probably rush through them, but I wanted to try to find a lot of the secrets. The only one I really rushed through was the last mission pack, because that one just didn't really feel like the rest of them. But I like this game quite a bit, and I highly recommend you go and check out Quake if you never have. Or if you're just looking for a good Quake ports, because this I haven't played the other Quake, so I don't really know, but it feels pretty good, and it has all this extra content with it, so I think that you'll at least enjoy that if you've already played Quake in the past, and maybe you haven't played all this extra content, and now you'll have a chance to do that. But thank you guys for watching. I will talk to you in the next video. You have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.